the Shabbat Chanukkah, is a Shabbat that holds many different things together. And each and every year, as I move through this period of the year and come into each and every juncture, each and every one of those places, revisiting old questions and looking for new answers, revisiting old dilemmas and paradoxes or questions of placement and theme. Each and every year I yearn for a new synthesis, a new meaning, a new relevance for some of these old conundrums, these old dvarim boltim, these things that stand out. I hold in my heart and mind as we enter Shabbat Chanukkah the teaching of our sages that Yom Kippur's final judgment is not complete until the end of Chanukkah. I hold in my heart and mind the coincidence each and every year of the Parsha that we'll read tomorrow morning, Miketz, and the Joseph narrative with Shabbat Chanukkah, with the unique double flame of Shabbat and the sixth night tonight of Chanukkah. I hold that too, wondering. I hold in my heart and mind the word itself, Miketz, the strange locution, a strange word that becomes the word of the Parsha and also connects us in some way. I always wonder to Hanukkah, and I hold in my heart and mind its relevance at this particular moment in my life, your life, our lives. On this week's Torah reading, Miketz, Joseph, as you can imagine, is a man who has been besieged with despair. The moment that this parsha brings us to is a moment where Joseph, maybe a couple of years before, maybe a decade, the tradition says he was in prison for a decade. He must have been going through the narrative over and over again. Well, let me get this straight. I told my brothers dreams, and then they were jealous, but then my dad, who was my ally, sent me to say hi to them in a place called Shechem or Shechem. And next thing I know, I've been stripped of this beautiful petticoat or this beautiful multicolored coat, whatever it is. I'm naked in a pit. And then I get lifted up out of the pit by Midianites and Ishmaelites, and they take me in this deliciously olfactory extravaganza of smell and sensual pleasure. I'm in this caravan. I'm thinking, wow, I've died, but I'm in heaven now. And then I'm sold to my master who thinks that I'm the cat's meow. I can do nothing wrong. And then I get framed, and then I find myself naked again, in a pit again, and here I am. But within that darkness, there was a flicker of hope. I gave a good dream interpretation to someone named the wine steward, and he promised me that he would give a good word to Pharaoh. And so here I've been for these last 2 years hoping. Here I've been for these last 2 years hoping that somehow I would be removed from this dungeon, from this prison. Somehow that which I had given, I placed hope in, that spark, that possibility. Vayhi Miketz, and it was at the end of 2 years. And Joseph, at the end of those 2 years, the word Miketz means at the end of Joseph's suffering, the beginning of his redemption is all hidden in this little Miketz at the end. The Torah could have used another word. It could have been baketz at the end, liketz, towards the end. The strange prefix mem that comes before a word in Hebrew not only means potentially it was at, but it can mean from that. Miketz, from the end. Somehow the end of Joseph's suffering was embedded in what he extracted from the way things ended. It was from ends that Joseph began to see a glimmer of hope in his life. It was the recognition that, as the Midrash points out, Kate Sam Lachoshech, the darkness or the dawn cannot be held back, and darkness doesn't have ultimate reign. It won't be dark forever. Somehow Joseph knew that. Somehow Joseph knew from all of his previous travails, somehow from all of the other Ketzim, all of the ends that had come before, Joseph had a sense that, you know what, I've been here before. I know this story. I know that it always seems like it's not going to get any better. I know it seems that I'm at my last rung. I know that it seems that there'll be a new variant around the corner. I know that it seems that the Supreme Court is going to do something horrific that will galvanize us to light up and fight again. I know that endings happen. But Kate's Sam Lachoshech, there's an end to the darkness. It won't last forever, and Joseph had that in him. Joseph says, you know, I've been here before. I've walked this path before. I know what it is to feel completely depleted. I know what it is to feel hopeless. I know what it is to doubt and maybe think that it will never get any better. I know that there once was a beautiful coat, a beautiful shul, a beautiful community, a beautiful this, a beautiful that. I know that we're on the back of a spiral. I know it looks dark. But Miketz, from his experience of endings before, of being on the pinnacle, it was so great and lofty. I had 5 million followers on Twitter. I had a bank account that looked like this. We were coasting along. We're getting a hold of it. We were going to get boosted and boosted. Don't send me back there. Don't send me back to that terrible place. But Joseph said, you know, Miketz, I know from other moments in my life that Kisheva Yipol Tzadik V'kam, that you fall down, you get back up. You fall down, you get back up. Sheva Yipol Tzadik. We've been here before. The tzaddik, the righteous one, is not the holiest one. It's not the one that never makes a mistake. It's not the one that's never screwed up. It's not the rabbi that never made a mistake from the pulpit. I mean, everybody who knows Roma knows that I have never made a mistake ever at Romamu. Ask the previous board chairs and other members of our community. They all know that I have an absolutely spotless record. I've never done anything wrong. That's probably true, right? You fall down, you get back up. Joseph had emunah, he had faith that Kate Sam Lachoshek, that there isn't, as the Midrash Tanchuma says, that darkness, right, has a rhythm. There's a rhythm. And the righteous one knows that the rhythm, the archetypes, they spin like this beautiful dreidel that we spin on Hanukkah each and every year. Which side will it be? I don't know. Whichever one it is, it'll be something else probably later. One side and the other. So that falling isn't falling, it's dancing. Like the great Zorba the Greek, who let go, whose dance and falls became the beginnings of the new rhythm, the new dance, the new machol. The Hebrew word for dance and the word for forgiveness are the same word. The cycle of forgiveness is a cycle of we fall down, we get back up. You fell down, you got back up. Sheva Yipol Tzadik. So here we are again, like Zorba, dancing with uncertainty. Dancing like that dreidel that my kids cannot figure out why it doesn't always land on exactly the right side they wanted. And say, like Rav Nachman Abrasov said, you have to just spin it again. You spin it again, you dance it again. The most important thing is to pick up the dreidel and do it again. And it can be dizzying, friends, I know. I'm not speaking from a place of holier than thou. It's dizzying to be back here, but we have been here before. We know the terrain. We know how to manage our fear. We know how to support one another. We know that it's a long haul. It's a long haul. But we're here, right? Shabbat Chanukkah. We didn't think we'd be here last year. We didn't know. I'm planning to be here, God willing, inshallah, next year, dancing with all of you like a dreidel top, saying it spins and it gets back up. The last thing that I hold in my heart each and every year about Hanukkah is the famous question in the Talmud, later than the Talmud, actually appears later in the Talmud, the question of why do we light one candle as if, let me say that differently. Why is the first night of Hanukkah, why is the one candle a miracle? It should be that there are 7 miracles, but the first one, they had enough oil for the first night. Famous question from the Beit Yosef. It's a cute question too, it's sweet, and there are a lot of different answers to it. But with this theme, it makes so much sense to me. You fall down, you get back up. The first candle has to come back over and over again. The first one is the first light, and then it goes out, but then the first one says, that was a miracle. I'm gonna light it again on the second night. I'll add one more, and then on the third night, the first one comes back and says, I'm here again, and the second one says, me too. And then all of the candles are dancing together, each one of them saying gloriously, triumphantly, honestly, real. You fall down, you get back up, you go out, you light again. And I know we're tired. But Yeshua Hashem keheref ayin. God should give us the strength to continue to spin, to dance, to fall down, to get back up, to light the candles, to tell the tale of courage and triumph and strength, and to remind one another that we know how to do this. Miketz, from all of the endings, we know that there will be an end to this darkness. No one can hold back the dawn. Please rise.